We're just pawns playing in the game.
So you said your vote doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the vote doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, it's favoritism.
Because you think both sides are too similar? That's why it doesn't matter? Or you think the system is broken?
The system's broken.
That we put a helmet on a football player and we pay him millions of dollars, and we put a helmet on our troops, and what do we give them?
He doesn't try to unite us, he tries to divide us. I agree with most of you guys in there about more things I disagree with you.
There's just no loyalty. Like, you're a veteran, we could be friends for life. Yeah. But, you know, like, the kids don't think like that anymore.
As veterans, we don't look at each other and go, oh, because you're black, because you're white.
You serving in the same, you're next to somebody that can save your
if
life
I'm
one
in
day.
a foxhole, if you jump in the foxhole with me and we're being shot at, I don't care. You know, we're all going to find a moment with Jesus.
What do you mean by they?
They?
They're already over here.
There's intel reports that they're already embedded with the immigrants. They've already infiltrated our lands.
Who's they, though?
The ISIS. They've already infiltrated. They're already inside.
But how do you stop it? You got
How do you stop it? You built that wall, you closed the border.
What is the wall going to do?
If asked to serve your country right now, would you do it? Ooh, we're going to make you think about that one as we get towards the end. Evan, what was your takeaways on this one?
Nothing surprises me more than when we get into a room with people that we don't really know that well and we don't know what they're going to say. So I was really just surprised about how just where they went with certain things that you asked. I literally try to anticipate things, but I didn't know.
You can't sometimes, and we always have seen in these things, they're all veterans. Yes, they have different opinions, but underlying, they all have the same code. That was interesting too.
Yeah, and the best part about it, at the end of the day, they agreed on being American at the end of the day above all their disagreements or the things they agreed on.
But how they got there is the most interesting part. So let's do it. Let's go off the air right now. All right, let's talk to the veterans. We got to know what they're thinking about, the most important issues of the day, and we will start with this. The best movie ever about veterans or war. Who wants to go first? Oh, I got them thinking now. What we got?
What was it? Tom Hanks? Was that Band of Brothers?
It was Band of Brothers.
It was Born on the 4th of July.
Tom Hanks.
Band of Brothers.
Oh, Tom Hanks was.
Yeah, that's it.
Ryan.
I knew I didn't have the name right. Yeah.
Saving Private Ryan, classic. Okay.
Saving Private Ryan.
Saving Private Ryan.
I'm going to go off the grid.
Okay.
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump was
Gary Sinise. Gary Sinise.
Robert Zemeckis, let's go.
I mean, come on.
One movie I really enjoyed
Lieutenant Dan.
was The Rescue.
Lieutenant Dan was awesome.
So let's get into this a little bit. I want to start with some stereotypes that are out there. Like, if you say to somebody, I'm a veteran, or they come to you and say, oh, veterans are like this or like that, what are some stereotypes out there that you see are inconsistent or are not right?
They're not right.
Yeah. Or what do you hear?
I really don't hear anything. A lot of times, you know, when you say that you're a veteran, a lot of people thank you. They don't look at it down on us like, well, I know probably in his case it's Vietnam, so it's not like that anymore. It's like they're very proud of who we are and what we serve.
They say thank you for your service.
Does a person have to thank you for your service?
No.
In
fact, and sometimes we don't. You know, we hear it and we're like, oh yeah, you know, because I didn't join to get thanks. I joined to serve my country.
I feel like you get more thanks when there's wars going on for the most part. I mean, I know coming back from Iraq or Afghanistan, when that was going on, they're like, hey, thanks for your service. Now it's like, okay, once in a while, like you pull out your ID and the bartender's like, you know, and they see the American flag on there, if you pull out your retired card, thank you. It's kind of hit or miss, I think, in my opinion.
Well, whenever I fly my colors, someone always says to me, thank you for your service. If I have on either my T-shirt or my hat, someone will always say, thank you for your service, sir, and I say, thank you.
You care about if they do that?
No, I don't. It makes me feel good. I know now that the service and sacrifice means something, because at one time it wasn't that way. But yeah, you know, I care that they do, but I don't have to have it.
What about you? What do you think about that?
I actually don't like it when they thank me, because like him, I don't.
You didn't go there.
I didn't go there for that, you know. And a lot of times I just think it's because a lot of times it's around Veterans Day, and that's when they're saying it. So they're just kind of like, because it's Veterans Day, they're bringing it up.
Well, it's like you're that 1%. It's like you don't expect it. You know, like Ed did a job. It was a job.
Well, we
all had a job.
That's why we do it.
There's one time that we really don't like to be thanked, and that's on Memorial Day.
Right, I agree with that.
That is one of the worst times to ask me, hey, thank you for your service.
Don't thank me.
I'm not dead.
Yeah.
You know?
Like Vietnam, all the baby killers. They call us baby
I
killers.
was going to say, it's changed a whole lot, because I remember coming back from Fort Dix and I had my duffel bag and I'm trying to thumb a ride on Oregon Pike in Lancaster, and people were rolling down their windows and they're spitting and they're saying obscenities, and I'm like, what is going on?
This is Vietnam era, right?
Right, 71, and today I just see a total different outlook on that, and I'm glad for that.
I think a lot of positives.
I think the veterans, and I don't mean to cut anybody off. I think the veterans who came back from Vietnam were treated different than those who served in World War II and World War I.
Sure.
Yeah, because the war was perceived as a bad thing.
Right.
It shouldn't have been there. So
Right.
all these soldiers took all this. They're over there
Right.
fighting, and they don't know what's going on back here. That it's pretty perceived.
It's a
as
different
this-
perspective.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we got a consensus here that people, you're treated pretty well by your peers or people in the public. Once they realize you're in military, it's the positive instead of a negative right now.
Especially the younger generation now.
Yep.
The younger kids come up to you and say, thank you.
Sure, that's good. They've been taught that. That's nice. One aspect, though, we still see that's not going so well is you still see a lot of homeless veterans. It's been something that politicians have talked about for a long time. The root causes of that can be discussed, and maybe we can get into some of that here. But what do you think the reasons are that we still hear about so many homeless veterans? And you can get into whatever pieces of that you want to first, but let's start right here.
I think the biggest factor or the friction points is dealing with your higher ups at the VA level. Obviously, let's talk about the shortfalls they've had. $15 billion for a shortfall. I mean, no one's really talking about that, but in my perspective, you get politicians who are on leave, but they're not concerned about the PACT Act. They're not concerned about homeless veterans. But where's all your money going? Where's all your money going to? You're using towards other countries, i.e., Ukraine. You could be funding that money towards homeless veterans, but instead, you're fighting another man's war. That's not our war. Instead of giving that money to veterans and giving them care that they deserve. I mean, VA, they say VA is supposed to take care of the veteran when they come home, but they're not taking care of the veteran if you're funding that money somewhere else.
So about policies and about where to use that money best. What do you think?
Go on.
Yeah.
That the VA can, I'm gonna give you a perfect example with the VA. Okay, I had an infection in my liver at one time, and I had to take this experimental drug called Harvoni. Took one tablet a day for 12 weeks. It was $1,000 a pill. By the time I was finished, it was about $85,000 the VA done spent, right? Now you can spend $85,000 to help me with that, but you couldn't spend anything on dental issues with veterans. They won't give you nothing unless you're 100%.
Yeah.
Makes no sense at all. No sense at all. And plus, the idea that you can put a claim in the VA, and it might take 2-3 years to settle that claim. Why does somebody need to wait 2-3 years to hear on a claim? It's like they're waiting for somebody to die so they don't have to pay.
Anybody else experiencing stuff like that when it comes to VA and responsiveness? Maybe you have a story of success that's worked out well.
Well, they wouldn't pay for my medication. It took 12 years before they started paying for mine.
I success story. I left the military in 2020. While I was on active duty, they said, "Hey, guy, before you get out, let's file all your claims. Let's get your medical records." And it didn't take long. Now, I left active duty in 2020, so it was like right there and then they took care of me, and I'm being taken care of now. I mean, I'm being taken care of by the VA, but other veterans, I've heard horrible stories, but I mean, that's a success story. I'm being taken care of.
Can we zone it back in on homeless?
Yeah, well, on homeless, that's one of the topics when I was here as a post commander, I was hot and heavy on is why are they homeless? Well, a lot of them have mental issues, okay? And what the biggest problem with the VA right now is you get a combat vet. He won't talk to anybody but another combat vet. So they get these guys in there, these psychiatrists and these psychologists, and they get them in there. Finally, they get to be buddy-buddy, and they're finally opening up, and they go, well, your therapist is leaving. So now, not only do they feel that they were abandoned by the government to begin with, now they're being abandoned by the VA, the guy that got him to open up, got him to do what he needs to do. And the other thing is, a lot of these vets that are out there homeless have pets, and it's hard to get a place with a pet. And I had one guy, when I asked the question when my dad died, to the representative, he goes, well, if they get rid of their dog, they could have a home. And I'm like, the dog is what's keeping them alive. And that's what we got to do. We got to cure that mental block that we have on. We got to clear the mental issue. We need more psychiatrists to be able to help them vets acclimate themselves back in. So why not have like down in Harrisburg, they just put in the veterans I call it the roundabout.
The tiny homes.
Yeah, the tiny homes.
Yeah.
Where they're going to get help by being a community. This is what they need. They don't need more smoke. And I'll just say that, and that's what we get.
In Carlisle, my experience since '68, at our post, we never had a problem with it. Being black, I never seen the black homeless in Carlisle, veteran.
So you don't think it's race connected at all?
No.
That's
Not
a
in
different
Carlisle.
perspective. I wasn't even thinking about it from that perspective.
Yeah.
But you don't think, Quinn, you don't think race has anything to do with? But you don't think there's a discrepancy between what there's more brown skinned homeless people that were veterans as opposed to like white folks that were veterans?
In Carlisle, it's more white that I see
Wow.
than black. 'Cause there, I live across the street from the shelter. I see them, talk to them.
Being a veteran, we don't. I'm going to tell you right now. A lot of us veterans, we don't look at each other and go, "Oh, because you're black, because you're white."
You serving in the same? You're next to somebody.
I
that
mean,
can say
if
the
I'm
wrong
jumping in a
thing.
foxhole, if you jump in the foxhole with me and we're being shot at,
Yeah.
I don't care. We're all going to find a moment with Jesus, right?
We worry about that later. We trying to survive.
I don't care about that. That's
Our minister said
yes.
there are no atheists in. There are no atheists in war.
Exactly.
Everybody says, "Oh my Lord Jesus, help me!" Everyone calls him out.
Bob, I want to hear your perspective on this when it comes to that and race, and how did you view each other when you were in your platoon or in your group?
You know what? I think it's always been respect for each other, and I think that's what it always should be. It's almost an unwritten code that you don't put down another veteran,
That's right.
and you just don't do that.
Yeah.
And
We stick up for each other.
yeah.
You don't.
You support each other.
And here, Joe, and as he leads into that, the two vice presidential candidates that we have that are both veterans, they served. Whether you are in the reserves or you are active, you serve because if you got the call, you had to suit up and go roll out. The mere fact that you didn't get the call was just either your fortune or misfortune, because some guys want to go and want to serve. But if they called me and I was a reservist, I had to go. So because he was a reservist, he didn't go. That doesn't taint his service at all. He's a military man.
Well, let's get into that then. So let's get into that. You're talking about Tim Walz, all right? So here's what we know and what has been said about it. He got his new rank because he qualified for it. He got called up after he decided to run for office, okay? So he didn't go with his platoon, but he told them before that he wasn't going to go. But he did use his new rank in terms of calling himself that, even though he didn't go serve in that rank. So are we saying he was just sloppy with the way he used that rank, or was that actually, for you folks, kind of more than that?
I think he had a choice. Do what he wanted to do. I did 22 years. Goodbye.
Should he have used the new rank, though, when he talked about himself?
Yeah.
He did earn it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if he didn't pin it on, if he didn't serve under that rank, then I don't think. I mean, if it was actually awarded to him, his date of service, you have a date of rank. So if he pins on this whatever rank at such a date, whether he served or not, if he has that rank, then that's his. But if he never got awarded that, his date of service never started, never officially awarded that, then I don't think he should have it.
Do you think Tim Walz misrepresented himself from a military perspective?
Honestly, that's the first I ever heard of it.
And
I didn't know. I haven't followed up that much with
right.
that.
And I
part
think
of
more
it.
people are in your camp. You hear the big stuff, but these details and
So much.
Exactly. You don't get into the details.
Let's go into that, okay? Let's
Let's
go with what you were talking about with Tim Walz. I don't have a problem that he was a master sergeant, that he was in the military for 24 years. The problem I have is just 2 months prior to him getting out, okay, he decided I'm not going to go for the senior rank. I'm going to get out because we're going to war, okay? Now, who in their right mind would go from a senior what he was going to that
But
top
he
rank
wasn't going
down
to
to
war.
master sergeant? Okay, there's a
He
big
wasn't going
difference
to
in
war. He was not going to war.
His point. This is his
but
point.
there's a
though.
big difference in pay.
His point is that it seemed convenient that he would dip out when things were about to get hot.
He wasn't going to war.
But that's that he's saying otherwise, though, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he wasn't going to war. He was just going to a country to train people.
I'll say again, I do not disparage any man's military service.
No, I don't either. I'm not
Exactly
saying about
right.
his military
Just
service.
won't do it.
I'm just saying, I'm just trying to clear up that, it's like,
Right. Yeah.
don't look at, like, a lot of times we all pay attention to the media and we get different aspects, and it's like,
Yes,
I respect the fact that he had 24 years.
That's my issue. That's been my issue. I'm unbiased in this, but it's my thing is he put on the uniform and took the basic training.
Exactly.
So after that, I'm like, listen, because I didn't do it.
Well, that's why we're here to talk to these guys.
And that's not my issue with Tim. His military career is nothing.
This is amazing. Everything you guys are saying to me, because what they're trying to shove down y'all's throats to literally get your vote or not get your vote is to diminish this man's record.
But you
And
know what?
every single one of y'all.
I don't think it's these people.
No, it's clearly not the
They're not
people.
going for these people.
They're not going for it.
They're not going for these people.
No, like I said, I believe that, when it comes down, when somebody says, oh, he served in the military, I don't care. I care that the fact that you served, I'm proud of you that you served, but I don't want to use that to vote for you.
Right.
I want more substance on why I'm voting for you.
I agree with you.
I want to know what your policies are. I want to know how you speak in front of people. I want to know how you treated people before you were in the limelight.
Yeah, so now speaking of that, since we just rolled into that one, I don't know, Joel, I'm not trying to take a show, but what about, and I'm going to put out here, Donald Trump. I just want to say what I want to say. My parents taught me to respect people. They told me that if you look a man in his eye, you respect him, he respects you. They told me that you don't make people in front of people's names. They told me that you don't bully people. They told me that you treat someone the way you want to be treated. This guy, he doesn't try to unite us, he tries to divide us. I agree with most of you guys in there about more things I disagree with you. I agree that the border should be strong. Absolutely. I just disagree on how he wants to do it. I believe you should be able to have your own gun. I just believe that I disagree on how he wants to do it. When they said the right to bear arms, they had no idea about an Uzi. They didn't know that. Your right to bear arms, that's cool. But you need an Uzi to go hunting?
No.
Well, that goes into the other things.
No, that's
let's
not.
get into. So here's
That's why we're here.
No, your turn. Go ahead.
I am 100% that with the reason why they wrote that. Okay, let's go back and
I would love
let's
to
go
tell me
let's
about
do
the articles and the
let's do the history. Let's do the history of why we went to war in the first place. To get our country away from England, okay? Mm-hmm. So do you think we went with bow and arrows after the British?
Right.
No, we had the same firepower as the government that was controlling us.
Right.
So if you don't have the same firepower as the government that's controlling you, then you can't go against them. They can become what they're being, what we're being showed now is take the guns away. It's what's the problem. It's mental illness, and it's the people out there causing people to go, oh, I don't like this, so I got to do this. I got to go after this guy. I can't stand him. And they hear things in media and in reports that were, oh, we got to take the president out, and then they go in and try to assassinate him. That's exactly what transpires.
First of all, he's not the president. He's the former president.
Okay, he's a former president, but I still call him a president.
Candidate. Well, yes.
And then second of all, again, I'm talking about weapons of mass. I'm talking about Uzis, machine guns. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You have your normal.
You can have your 45 at home.
How many handguns you have?
Yeah.
But you don't need an assault rifle.
Who you preparing for?
Okay, you talking about fighting against you talking about the people we fought about in another country.
Well,
We
let's
have
go
our own
bigger
military
picture.
now.
Bigger picture. Raise your hand if you are going to be voting on gun control this cycle.
Yeah.
One way or the other. One way or the other. Is gun
Yeah.
control going to be something that you will consider the candidates' opinions, and that will help you decide what you're going to do? I got 1, 2, 3, 4. No. Okay, so 4 out of 6. Okay.
That's not the only thing that's going to decide my vote.
Right, I'm just saying how it's an aspect of it.
It's an aspect.
It is an aspect of it.
But talk to me about what's your stance on this, though? You know what I mean? Everyone has a different take on it and what they think as far as right to bear arms and all this stuff. And this whole conversation we're having, what's your thought process on it?
I have a couple guns.
That's cool.
They're at the house. I don't use them, but they're there. And if you want to have some, have some. But I agree with you where you don't need to have 1,000 of them. And 1,000 rounds prepared for something that may or may not.
You're exactly right. I don't agree with that.
That's what to me, the fanaticals, the ones that we have to have for guns. Why do you have to have so many? You really don't have to. You're only going to be able to use one at a time.
Well,
I got one.
But that's just my opinion on it.
The danger is there's a fear of if you put a limit on it from the government's perspective and it gets through, does that make the next law easier to implement that would be more restrictive and more restrictive and more restrictive? So
You
that's
mean like they did abortion?
right. So there's the theory. Although that goes back to the states.
Well, yeah, but
The
you know,
states would be interesting if it went to gun control.
the rule of thumb is it's all about like how much control will they
But if you
over
take
this.
away the guns from the legal people, from the people that actually go and get their concealed carries and go through the motions, I don't care. Give me a psych eval, whatever you want to do, but don't take something that I got to protect my home, my family.
All right.
But also learn the laws that go along with gun
There you go.
safety.
Hey, gun training.
You know,
There you go.
you got to train these people. You know, anytime. I'm going to say that as good as anybody can go out there and get a gun. Okay, what we do is when we take away the guns from the law-abiding citizens, we actually give the power back to the criminals out there
Right.
that'll go and get an illegal one.
I don't think they're trying to take guns away from law-abiding citizens.
Thank you.
Not
I
yet.
don't think that's what they're doing.
No one's saying that yet. But there is an assault weapons ban is what Kamala Harris would like to put in place. So that would limit
Right.
what kind of
So
weapons
what do
you
you
could
need
have.
an assault weapon for?
Yeah.
So that's what everyone's talking
What's
about.
Hey,
Assault weapon.
and what's next? A bazooka? Oh, that's a I want a bazooka.
Exactly right.
Okay, so
Well, hunting rifle can be a weapon of war
But you know
too.
they're hunting, though. They're trying to get
But
deer.
I'm-
You know, especially
You,
in
you
Pennsylvania.
don't want to use a Uzi or deer.
It's the
You ain't
same
gonna have much left.
It's the same caliber. It's actually the same
I got a
caliber.
bigger picture question again.
Come on.
When it comes to who you're going to elect, what you got to pick one or the other. What's more important, personality or policy? Okay, raise your hand if personality is going to be what you vote on.
Honesty. I can be honesty.
Well, honestly, it's part of personality.
That's not one of the questions.
That's part of personality. Honesty is part of personality.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
True.
So it's
Also,
interesting.
personality is also.
I'll make it simpler. Are you voting on the candidate or their policies?
Less of the evil.
It's the policies?
Less of
So
the
you
evil.
could overlook some things you don't like about a candidate,
Hey, right.
but as long as you think they're
Right.
going to do
They're
things the
gonna do
way
it.
you want for the country.
You see, God already knew who's gonna win this election.
Well, that's what we're
Okay.
looking at.
Cause you can waste your time voting all you want. He already decided. Who already decided who's gonna win this?
And the person.
how do you separate
Because the
that?
person, that is their policy.
Well,
How do you separate that? Policy and personality. How do you do that? You know what a person's policy is. You know what they're gonna do. You know, we already experienced that 40 years that Trump was in there, where he did nothing for the country except for tax breaks for the wealthy.
well, hold on.
So we
Hold
already
on.
know what's going on.
I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you right now. I know a lot of Trump voters.
Sorry, you're gonna bash on Trump. We're gonna
Hold
come
on,
back
hold
at
on.
You can. You can.
No, let's go.
Oh, yes, I
Here we go.
can.
Here we go. Here's the difference. Let's say that abortion was a big topic for you. Okay. Let's say you didn't like Trump at all, but you know he's going to put in Supreme Court justices that are going to overturn abortion. And that, right, but let's say that's important to you. And you don't like him at all, you hate his personality, but you know that policy is something that's important to you, and it would get changed if I voted for him. That's what worked for some people. So they were able to separate between policy and personality.
Because they wanted abortion change, you say.
But in that case, and there
Right,
might be,
right, I
there might be
understand.
another topic someone feels strongly
And there'd
about
be enough
where
to
they
push
can
them to
get
vote for
away
it.
from, and let's just not keep it to Trump. It could be anybody. If
Right.
you don't like the person, but you know it's going to be the voting the kind of ways you want on policy, some people can separate that way. Some people can't. I get it. All right, so I know you guys are not of the serving age anymore, most of you here. But if asked to serve your country right now, would you do it? Raise your hand. Yes or no? All right. Everybody's still in with that.
Yeah.
But let me turn it a little bit around.
I should say no
Well,
because
say yes.
because of Vietnam. That's what I should say. No, the way I was treated.
I understand that.
Yeah.
That's a good discernment here.
Yeah.
And
Going to
maybe
Vietnam.
we're going in the same direction with this. I know it's your responsibility, and you make that call when you decide to commit, and I think that's what so many of us admire about that. But does it matter what you would be going for? Meaning,
Yeah.
what if you were asked to go serve? Reach your hands down. You all had your hands raised. I want to see if something changes here.
Okay.
Hands up, because you all said you would serve your country if necessary.
I'm right here.
Right? Okay. Keep your hand up if you would serve if it meant a war in Israel. Yours is down now. Keep your hand up if it would be serving in Ukraine. How about in Taiwan against China?
Go back up.
Okay, so there's a little distortion there. This is where I'm getting to with this. RFK Jr. has just endorsed Donald Trump. One of the things he said is he wants to end the forever wars. Is that something that will catch your attention? Forget about the Trump part of this, but ending forever wars, is that a priority for you?
What does that exactly mean?
Let's start over here. Forever wars meaning like Afghanistan was.
Okay. Right? Just keep going for
where
they just don't stop.
The goals are a little mushy on exactly what we're trying to do, but we're going to at least have a stake there and try to have an impact there. So Afghanistan was considered a forever war. Ukraine's starting to go in that direction where there's no distinct end to it, as once this happens, the war will end. It's not necessarily us having a specific reason for going there, winning something and then leaving, but just having a presence there for a long, long time. That's the definition of a forever war.
Well, Ukraine right away, I mean, if we let Russia overtake Ukraine, where are they going to stop? And NATO and all that. I mean, you think they're going to be happy with just that?
Ukraine, you're right.
I mean, you got to defend this country.
Every military person here knows you want to fight your battle and your wars away from your shores.
Yes.
You don't want them on your borders to fight them. You want to keep them as far at bay as you can before they get here. So yes, that's what a lot of average Americans don't understand. Why are they over there? Because you don't want them over here. Trust me, you don't.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. They're already over here.
Exactly.
You can't stop that.
What do you mean by that? They're already over here.
There's intel reports that they're already embedded into with the immigrants. They've already infiltrated our lands.
Who's they though?
The ISIS. They've already infiltrated. They're already inside.
So,
the liar.
But hold on though.
It's just about how many.
It's about
how about this?
It's about when. I mean,
what about the homegrown terrorists that have always been here?
That's there too. I mean, because you got to think we're fighting wars on the outside, but we're not looking on the inside.
I'm sure we are.
I can assure you we're doing that.
Yes,
we're not doing it. Our intel is way off. We're not doing that.
Homeland Security.
Let's let them.
We're not doing that.
I can still push back, Joe.
I know you can push back.
Oh,
I know you can push back. But here's the thing: you already have terrorists inside who are already embedded on American soil. And I don't know. There's plans out there, but it has nothing. 9/11 hasn't happened yet. But I bet you any amount of money. And God forbids, I hope it doesn't happen. And maybe not now, maybe not while we're here, but it's there. It's right there in front of us.
So what's the correlation with that in Ukraine?
That's what I want to know.
Once again, correlation. Ukraine's ISIS. It's already here. The intel is there. Everybody, those people right here that are fighting Ukraine's right now, the terrorists. It's a terrorist organization. Those are terrorists. When somebody is fighting, when the Russians are fighting against Ukraine, they're considered a terrorist.
In other words, you said
when they come here, they're
do they
considered
have
terrorists.
tens of thousands of people here already?
You guys are not.
I don't think they have 10,000 Ukrainians.
You're sleeping right now, so you don't see that.
When you look at,
He would agree with me.
when you look at 12 million people coming across our border, and we didn't vet a one.
We didn't vet
a one.
I'm out. You got that right. But how do you stop it? You got.
How do you stop it? You build that wall. You close the border.
Come on, man.
They're gonna close Rikers Island.
They tried to pass a bill, and Trump told them not to do it.
And what was attached to that bill? See, that's where everybody just wants to say, "Oh, this bill," but they don't know what else.
It was bipartisan.
It's called pork. That's the reason why it's called pork is they put a lot of fat
that
into
was
it.
still allowed to come across. That was one of the deal breakers there.
Yeah.
I got one last follow-up for you.
Yeah.
The concern that you have, do you think either candidate is dealing with that right now? Have you heard?
Of course. We're both from both fronts. Canada and Americans. We're dealing with it right now.
Do you?
Yes.
I'm saying candidates.
Candidates, yeah. Are they going to deal with it? Is it a priority for them? No. Because once you get the power, you got the money. And once you got the money, it's all about, okay, we like you because you did this for us, or we like you because you did this for us. But at the end of the day is, who's got the most money? Who's got the most power? We know who's going to win. So it's all a favoritism game. It's a game. And we're just playing it. We're just pawns playing in the game.
So you said your vote doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the vote doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, it's favoritism.
Because you think both sides are too similar? That's why it doesn't matter? Or you think the system is broken?
The system's broken.
Okay,
The system is broken.
So he said the system's broken as well.
The system is broken.
The system is broken. I agree with him.
Honestly, my biggest thing is there's got to be more than two parties. Two candidates out of 350 million people, that's just wrong.
Yeah.
You can't.
You need to give it. You need like if you're playing a game, you need multiple people in that game.
But I like
You got to
that.
be able to give them a fair shake, and you can't get a fair shake when this party has $1 trillion and this party has $1 trillion.
And the little guy.
Kennedy probably had $1 billion, but you can't run a campaign on $1 billion
Right,
when they've already got all the money.
He just said
So
it, they
it's
squeezed
just-
him out. They squeezed him out.
But I like what his thought process is. He's saying that makes a little more sense to me because that right there, you know what I mean? If there's multiple people with different thought processes and there's somebody out there that actually has a
But when
plan
we go
that literally answer your ideas and they can't be heard because they don't have enough juice or they don't have a right party, that is an issue for me.
I was listening to Kennedy when he gave his speech the other day, and he said it takes more votes for him to get on a ballot for a state than it does a Republican. He had to get millions of signatures all over these 50 states in order to get onto the ballot. So how can we get a third party when you make the playing field so low? You know, we always were taught when I was low, you know, anybody can become president. I can't because I'm poor. If you don't got no money, you ain't got
But
nothing.
if you had $1 million, you could be a president, right?
Well, if I had $1 billion, I could go, you know, get, and if I
why can't it be
and if
popular?
I
That's
played
just
a puppet
a
show,
start.
yes, I could do it.
Right, exactly.
What about the popular vote, though? I mean, if you're going to have multiple candidates, then that would go. That would have to, you have to throw out the electoral college, and it's just let it be a popular vote.
See, I believe in the electoral college. It's got to represent the whole
Have $1
country.
million to start.
So does that answer
All
your
you have to
question?
do is start to be a House rep or a Senate. Once you're in the government, then you're going to make money. Because Biden wasn't a millionaire when he went there. He's a
And how are they
over
making all this money?
million.
That's what I want to know.
Hey,
That's the question we're not going to be able to answer.
yeah.
We'll never know the answer.
Well,
We
yeah.
probably know the answer. We just
We won't say it out loud.
pretty much.
Well. All right, let's get to the last couple topics here, guys. This is going well. I want to get to. You mentioned the word woke earlier. You meant in a different term, but I want to get to the term that's been thrown around a little bit more. Is the military too woke in terms of diversity training, in terms of what kind of things are out there to make sure that the people that are in there can get along with each other? Is that necessary? Is it a good thing? Is it not? Let's go around on this one before we wrap things up. You got an opinion on this?
Yeah, bring back the draft.
Well, that would equalize things real quick, huh?
I concur. At least do a couple. I can agree with that. Do a couple years of service.
Yeah,
Everybody across the board.
Everyone should do 2 years of service. Everybody.
All right.
In the beginning with the military,
Yeah.
you know, what we did with, and Marines can attest to this, they broke them down. Basically, when you go to basic training, you get broke down so you become a one-unit wrecking force. They don't do that anymore. Now we have to have, you got to come with me and I got to take care of your feelings. You know, feelings should not enter into the military whatsoever when you're out in battle. Because you start having feelings, then you're going to get yourself killed. Because that's what you got to do when you're.
Or I'll send you to the danger zone and leave the buddy, my person out of danger.
But see, when I was in, they called it. When I was in '80, okay, they called it a sister flight. I'm like, sister flight. It's, you know, I said, okay, I'll just let that pass. But you know, we had to, you know, make sure that they were okay. But then I started hearing about more and more where now it's individual buddies. You know, you had to have an individual buddy because you know you might be emotional, or you know you got to worry about is he going to do something. You know, but the more we're worried about that kind of stuff instead of the veterans that are already out here suffering.
But in the same respect, we do know once females got involved in the military, there was a big increase in sexual assaults and a lot of it being brushed aside and being covered up. So should there be some training to know how to deal with each other
Yes.
in some way?
That's a different
Here's the
side.
thing. You can have training, but it's all a person's mindset. So if they're not properly trained, it starts at your home.
Oh,
You can train somebody.
Say it again.
It starts at your home.
Yeah, but hold on.
But here's the thing.
I can't put everything on the parents if they're going.
You can.
If they're going to. You can't put everything on parents. You cannot do that because there's some bad apples out there. There's parents that cross their T's and dot their I's, and their kids still goes in the military and still sexually assaults a woman. You can't put everything on a mom and a dad. Now, everything that you do, man, stop. You got to take. So when are you supposed to take responsibility for what you do?
I mean, obviously you're supposed to take responsibility. What?
My
when
father
you're-
did
when
the
you-
best he could, but if I do something crazy, it has nothing to do with him. I promise you. I made a decision. I'm a grown man.
Well, that's because you got a free will.
So at the end of the day, we can't. If somebody acts a fool in the military, we can't go, "Oh, that's their mom and dad. They did something."
I think we're talking about
I don't
maybe
think he's talking
the
about that.
starting points. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree, that's a starting point. Your mom, your dad, your parent, or if it's just
It's a
one
foundation.
parent, yes, you build the foundation and you become a good person. That's not to say you're not going to do something stupid. You're not going to sexually assault somebody, but if the foundation is laid, you're less likely to do it.
Less like he didn't say less likely.
Well, I think he was meaning.
That's what I was referring to. I'm sorry. Let me correct my statement. Parents start with a foundation, and you build off the top of that.
They
So then they
teach
join the
right, wrong
military,
morals.
and they build on that more.
Right,
It's
okay.
like you're building a house. You build on that. That's what I'm saying.
Good point.
That's it.
The last topic is the recruitment levels are very bad right now, and it's a problem. You mentioned the draft. That's an extreme measure. That'd be tough to get through Congress at this point.
Take
So
the
what are
gun.
the other things we can talk about? Maybe the first thing is, why do you think recruitment is so low? We'll start over here.
Okay, so I just saw a commentary, and it said, we put a helmet on a football player, and we pay him millions of dollars, and we put a helmet on our troops, and what do we give them? And the other thing is, I think so important in the military is the technology, the AI, that we should be putting all kinds of money into those drones, into the air defense systems, that we don't have to go out and actually.
And put a man, put someone in harm's way.
Yeah, get him out of harm. Exactly what I'm trying to get at.
Recruitment.
Me, the black and the white younger generation, drug dealers. Why should I go? I can make X amount of dollars. I make $1,000 a day. Why should I go and make $100 a day? That's my point.
What's the problem with recruitment?
With recruitment, it comes down to, I'm going to say it, who's in the White House. Because right now, I'm going to tell you right now, I wouldn't want to serve under Biden. Because, first of all, I don't think he's cognitive enough to serve. I'm going to say it right out. I watched
But
his
Biden
speeches.
makes
I watched him, and I saw what was happening. We're being played, and both sides are being played. Republican voters are being played, so are the Democrats being played.
Yes.
And that's where I've been a Democrat, and I didn't like what was happening, because they weren't. They said, "Oh, we're going to help this group out. Okay, we're going to help minorities out," and they never did. You want to yell about Trump, but Trump actually gave money to a cause the black. I know you don't care, but I care about education.
Let's go to recruitment. We're staying on recruitment first.
But anyways, in the recruitment, on recruitment, it goes by like even when Bush was in office. I'll even go there. Recruitment was down because they didn't want to serve under because he made this weapons of mass destruction and it found out to be false.
Okay. What do you think about recruitment? Why are the numbers down?
Well, first of all, I don't believe in the draft, because I don't think that you can draft somebody and you think you're going to get a great soldier out of them, but they don't want to be there.
Yeah.
So I don't think that draft works at all. And as far as presidents go, we had a president that didn't want to go into service because he had bone spurs, which he actually never had, So you can talk about Biden all you want, okay? And I ain't never witnessed or experienced a president that called soldiers failures.
Okay?
So,
Never.
Suckers and losers, right?
That's right, suckers and
Okay.
losers.
So that means everybody
But
in
you would have to be
here,
your
all of us
president.
he didn't call a sucker and a
No,
loser.
he gonna help the military.
I actually think it was taken out of context. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
no,
I believe
it was
it's
not.
General
Oh, it was
Trump.
not.
Oh yeah, it was. You didn't get the
It
whole.
was not.
You don't get the whole soundbite when you listen.
I believe it's general over
There's been
Trump.
some accounts that wasn't said, some that it was. So.
Okay.
What about John McCain? He said that.
How about that
Definitely said that
Mellon?
about
John
McCain.
McCain, so what about
John
that?
McCain
Oh.
definitely said, I like the people that made it.
Then how about the Mellon?
Medal of Honor.
Mellon, what
Yep.
Trump just said.
Hey, but once again,
Okay.
you're right. And so you make a
civilian
point.
Mellon more than
He made a
that.
point over here. Some people may not want to serve under a certain kind of president. You both made your decisions on what kinds of presidents you think those are.
But Joe,
Yeah,
what
go
happens-
ahead.
What happens if you're in the military
Yeah.
and the president changes and you don't like that president on his policy? You can't get out of the military.
Correct.
You're stuck like Chuck.
That's your job.
So you don't. I did not sign up to serve because of the president. I signed up to serve my country.
Boom.
I'm not loyal to a president. I'm loyal to the United States Constitution, and that's what we all should be loyal to. Not to a man, not to a
Exactly.
human being who can die, not someone who cannot do anything for you but be elected. Every 4 years, we can change who we have. Every 4 years, we get somebody new.
I think it goes down to patriotism. I really do.
That's
That
why I
goes back
said-
to Joe's question. What do you think about the recruitment is down? Where are the patriots? Why doesn't anyone
Because
feel
it's not taught in schools to be a patriot anymore.
The flag, you
You
can't
can do whatever you want, be whatever you want, which is fine,
Do they
but
say
I'm not
pledge
teaching you
allegiance
to be
in
a
schools
patriot.
anymore?
You can't play
Really
no
are.
more in school. You
I
can't
mean,
play
there's
no more in
no,
school.
there's no loyalty to anybody. Next day, I like this guy. Next day, you're walking with somebody else. There's just no loyalty. Like, you're a veteran, we could be friends for life.
Yeah.
But, like, the kids don't think like that anymore. They really don't, because I don't think they're taught that.
Mindset.
Yeah, that brings us to the last one. I'll let you talk on this first. Okay, I think you guys have touched on this, and you've said it in big picture terms, but let's break it down. This is why recruitment is so important, because race doesn't matter when you're in a group that you have to depend on each other for your lives. You get to know each other from different backgrounds, and you get to actually see what that person's like and not assume what they're like. You're in there with them. You have to trust your life with them. So we realize that can be an important thing. For recruitment, can you think of something that would change and bring it up, or do we do a mandatory type of something without the draft? Maybe it's volunteerism. Maybe it's something else. It could be stateside. It could be, Corps of Engineers building bridges together. Something. Is there something that could bring people together from different areas because it's mandatory, but it doesn't have to be at war? Would that work?
Pay them more money.
If the pay was better.
Pay more money.
After all this, are you proud to be an American?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely. I think it's this group of people that you're talking to. A
Born
lot of
in
us
the
grew up
USA.
with parades, Memorial Day parades. I went, last Memorial Day parade in Mechanicsburg was pitiful because there was not the presence of the people out there respecting and honoring those people that served.
And
you know, that died, and it's like you're able to do what you want in this country because of the sacrifice of some. Some people say, oh, well, that sacrifice was their own fault. No, we did it so that you could have a future having the freedoms we have, to be able to say, I love God, and to follow your dreams, and to be able to do things and get the money that you want and do the things you want. But we don't have the patriotism as far as respecting those that died.
Yep. After all this, you're still proud to be an American?
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. Yep. And we can all
I wouldn't have
throw
it
out
any
our
other
opinions,
way.
disagree a little bit, get a little hot, but still proud to be an American. Oh, wait.
Tell me why though. It was universal. Tell me why you there was no question in your mind when you asked that question.
There's never
There's no real reason. I'm just proud to be an American,
Yeah, you could be.
I love the answer. I'm just asking. I just love to hear it.
You could be in the Far East.
That's the thing. I'm gonna let you wrap
Third
this thing up
world.
over here. So, like you said, I mean, as many things as we've said, you've been very honest about some problems that are out there. But when it comes down to being an American, what are you comparing it to, right?
I'm saying, yeah, right. Hey, look, I'd rather be here than anywhere else. This is much better than a hell of a lot of other places. I mean, there's a lot of faults here, but at least we have the opportunity to work on those things and settle those things, make things better. Some places you don't get that chance. You don't get that opportunity. It's what it is,
Yep. All right. I think that's a great way to end it. I appreciate all of you people. I appreciate your service. Thank you very much. Thanks for being a part of this.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks. See you.
Good stuff, guys.
Yep. Thank you. All right, guys. That sums it up. We got to a lot of stuff here. I appreciate it. Thank everybody at home. I hope that you guys can understand this too. Please put in the comments here what you think, what caught your attention, and something maybe we can get to next time. We might get this group together again a little bit closer to the election. So for Off the Air, we're off the air. They won't come back, maybe, but we'll get other people out here.